Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this is going to be a reading on Alvin Bragg. How is he feeling on the eve of the criminal trial bringing 34 felony counts against former President Donald Trump with regards to falsifying of business records, which led to hush money payments, or I should say hush money payments that led to falsified business records that were done in an attempt to conceal information of an affair coming out that would have damaged his ability to be elected president of the United States, hence his election interference case. Empress. I think Alvin Bragg is feeling pretty confident in that he has everything he needs. Come on down. I'm leaving that card right on top because I think that really says it all. Entertainment purposes only. How's Alvin Bragg feeling about this upcoming case? He's ready. He's got everything he needs. The trial got delayed a few weeks because the DA's office in the federal district, Southern District of New York, handed over a bunch of documents at the last moment, but nothing in those documents appears to be impacting Alvin Bragg's case at all. They are ready to go. Crossed with the Five of Coins. Okay, the Five of Coins. What's that telling me? This is being tossed out in the cold. I think it's like saying they've got this case cold. You know what I mean? It's like it's a documents case. It's a money case. They've got this guy dead to rights. They've already have a prosecution of Michael Cohen. They've got audio tape of Cohen and Trump talking about this. They have all sorts of testimony. They have the documents. This case is cold. It's a cold dead lock. I'm not drawing the right metaphor here because I keep throwing the word cold in here. They've got him he's out in the cold. There's nothing Trump can do about this. Underneath is the Two of Swords. It's which way is the prosecution going to go? And I think this is kind of the felony versus misdemeanor underpinning here. I was just watching a video from Hawk on TikTok. And this is something I've discussed before. It looked like Trump's lawyers were going to try and disconnect the hush money payment from the covering up the federal crime. And part of the things that Trump's attorneys will appeal, and this is what Avenatti was talking about the other day, is that apparently the falsification of business records is a state crime. And they are linking this state crime to a federal crime. And the feds chose not to pursue this, which is why Alvin Bragg is pursuing this. So I think what Trump's lawyers are going to try and argue is that Alvin Bragg and his team are overreaching by trying to drag a federal law in there to turn these crimes into felonies from misdemeanors. That's kind of where I think it's going, where I'm going with it. The thing Hawk was throwing in there, it's like he fully expects Trump's lawyers to try and argue for jury instructions that the jury could consider these charges as misdemeanors instead of felonies. And that could be what's underlying all this, is how will the judge rule on something like that? They'll get the conviction either way, but if the jury's allowed to think it's a misdemeanor, Trump may get away with misdemeanors rather than felonies. So that could be the other sort of underlying vibe that's going on here. Six of Swords in the past. The laugh is somebody in the comments section, and oh, good Lord. By the way, I woke up this morning and there were like 350 comments on the Melania video and like 300 comments on the Trump video. I spent hours this morning reading through the comments, acknowledging them, responding to a few of them. The laugh is somebody was commenting that Rikers Island is just across the river from the courthouse. Oh, God. In the past, we have the Six of Swords. It's been a while it's been a year to get where we are now. And there's been a lot of turbulence. And all these other cases have been, stalled. All the federal cases have been stalled for one reason or another. And this is the only case that seems to have made it through. And it's possible it's the only case that does make it through before the elections. I hope not, but there's always that possibility. They've stayed the course. They've deferred to other cases. Alvin Bragg delayed his case so that Jack Smith could potentially get the January 6th case in March, but the Supreme Court saw to it that wasn't going to happen. And he delayed to allow for the Mar-a-Lago case, and that's going to happen afterwards. So here we are. Current situation is the Wheel of Fortune. Here we go. Spin the big wheel. Again, he's very confident. I think he's got Trump nailed. And it's let the case play out. It should be a very straightforward case as far as evidence goes. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be odd things that happen, but right now it's out of Alvin Bragg's hands. They're as prepared as they can be for this. The overarching energy is the Seven of Cups. Integrity and setting your expectations. I think the Alvin Bragg's team, his legal team, has shown a lot of integrity. There's, Trump's challenges to the appeals courts have been smacked down quickly. The judge isn't upset with Alvin Bragg. He tends to be upset with Trump's lawyer instead. So the only thing that maybe that is a little concerning here is, are our expectations set properly for how the jury rules on this? Again, if they're given instructions allowing to rule for misdemeanors, we might have to adjust our expectations as to what's going to come out of this. Lesson to be learned is the Ten of Swords. I really do think they've got this case nailed down. They're going to have this case nailed down. There's not going to be any successful appeals of it. This case comes to a close on this front. Outcome is the Two of Wands. Planning next steps. There might be more cases to bring up against Trump. Certainly they'll be ready for the appeal. They know, regardless of what happens in this case, and maybe that's what this is also saying, is that they have to present a case in such a way that when the appeals come, that none of their evidence that they're presenting gets thrown out. They don't need to do that. It's a documents case. And of course, Trump is going to appeal this. He will appeal it. The moment the jury makes their decision, there's going to be a motion filed that night or the next day appealing the case. And that's just to be expected because that's how he rolls. He does that with everything. If he won the case, he'd probably appeal it. Total exoneration. But yeah, he's ready for it. He's ready for it. Oh, let me go back. That's Six of Swords in the past. Remember this case got delayed? We were all so upset with Alvin Bragg for delaying this case that he just seemed like he was in Trump's back pocket. That's probably what that was. And now, with the extra time and the extra evidence that they had and probably closing up loose ends, that Wheel of Fortune is probably now, he's thinking, this is the right time, we've got it. And that overarching energy was, before, this case may not have fully succeeded if we were on the faster timeline. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I had already shuffled the cards and put them away, but I think that's what's going on here. And again, you all remember how upset we were for stuff like that. Maybe you personally weren't upset. I was upset. I think that this delay, the timing works out really, really well. The timing works out really, really well on this one. Finally, something's coming up. Okay. How's the district attorney's office, the prosecutors, how are they going to do in this case? How well will they perform? Screen down, glasses on. I mean, I could read the cards without the glasses, but they've done their hard work. They've done their homework. They're ready for this. This is going to be a methodical case. This is a methodical case that they're going to be bringing forward. It's a documents case. It's a money case. It's just so straightforward. Just going to hammer this thing out. Cross with the Three of Wands. They're prepared. They've been waiting. This is their moment. This is their time to shine. Yeah. And not only that, the extra time they have that they've made, which also helped them lock down this case, they're ready for cross-examinations. They're ready for the challenges. They're ready to cross-examine any of the defense witnesses on this. They are ready to go. Underneath it all is the Page of Cups. I think they're also ready for the weirdness that's going to come from the Trump supporters in the social media. This is just something that they're not used to in most of their cases, or if not all their cases. Donald Trump is a special case as things go. So, they've done the work. They're ready for anything. And they're probably going to be watching social media and monitoring social media in order to maintain security from Trumpers and such things like that. This could also be that some of the information that they're going to get out is going to get to the MAGA crowd, and some MAGA members may not be so happy with what they hear. Again, some may resort to anger and violence. Some may have their eyes opened. In the past, we have Temperance. They've been preparing for this case for a while. They've practiced. They've practiced this case over and over again. They've thought of all the scenarios, how they're going to respond to those scenarios. They've acted professionally with information requests. They're just prepared. They're prepared for anything that Trump and his folks throw out. Now, mind you, Trump has like exactly 2 things he does. So they prepared for those, but probably for all the various iterations of it. I do wonder sometimes that the Page of Cups is about the jury and jury instructions, but I'll see if this comes up with anything later on this. Current situations, Knight of Swords. Oh, they are just so ready. They are chomping at the bit. They want this. God, they want to nail this guy bad. They really want this. As much as Trump is trying to get out of this, they want to nail his butt bad and leave no doubt as to what this guy did and why he did it. As been pointed out by a number of people, for somebody who claims that he's totally innocent, you'd think he'd want this trial to go forward so he can show how everything is a conspiracy against him. But everything he does seems to want to delay it. Just saying, he doesn't act like an innocent man. He does not act innocent about this at all. And it's probably because, Michael Cohen's already served time for this. Alan Weisselberg is in a lot of trouble too. There's just people have already gone to prison for this. He can't be real excited about his chances. The Trump's chances is that is. Overarching energy is the King of Wands. Now, this was my Michael Cohen card. Normally, I would assign this to the judge, but I think in this case, this is Michael Cohen. Yeah. You know who else is... Here's your Page of Cups. You know who else is looking forward to this trial? Michael Cohen. He was young, impressionable, under Donald's spell, and he went to prison for it. He went to prison. He got out of prison. He did his time. He is healing himself. Okay, this is one of those layered readings. And now Michael Cohen's ready to go too. Michael Cohen's ready to give Donald a taste of what prison life is going to be like. So Alvin Bragg and his prosecutors are confident. And there's a Michael Cohen reading in this as well. Michael Cohen is confident and he's ready to go. The lesson to be learned is the Page of Wands. They're going to talk about the messaging and the actions. This is just like the timeline of here's the timeline of what happened. Here's when the money changed hands. Here's whenever, here's what was going on when everything was happening. This case is going to be just so easy to put together. The timeline is going to be simple and believable. It's going to talk about the messaging and the actions that took place. You can also look, this is immature affairs and things along those lines. Outcome is the 7 of coins. Prosecution knows they've got the preponderance of the evidence is on their side. And it's almost an embarrassment of riches how much evidence they have. Pick and choose your evidence. Which one do you want to... It was almost probably harder for them to strategize what is the best way to present the order of the evidence. Not that they didn't have enough and there were gaps, but literally, it's like if we have a 99% chance of conviction, well, if we put the evidence this way, do we get 99.1? Look, literally, they're at that level. Now, come on down. And I want to reread this again as a Michael Cohen reading, because when this card came out, it triggered on this to me. Michael Cohen worked for Donald Trump, did all his dirty work, and even went to prison for Donald Trump, out on parole from that prison. And why? Because he had, he was as MAGA as they came. Michael Cohen was a huge Donald Trump supporter. One of the biggest there was, to the point he'd take a bullet for him. But when he got sent to prison, he got to realize who Donald Trump was. And while in prison, leading up to the prison sentence and through the prison, it helped purge him of the poison that is Donald Trump. And it helped him come up with what he was going to do in the future. And what he's going to do in the future is warn everybody about Donald Trump and do whatever he could to make sure Donald Trump was held accountable for the injustices that he's done. And right now, Michael Cohen is the King of Wands in this trial. Stormy Daniels, again, and Karen McDougal, but Stormy Daniels, especially Stephanie Clifford, is going to offer all the spice to and gossip and the salacious details for this. But it's Michael Cohen that puts all the players in order. And, he is that connection to all of that. As Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice would say, the one person Donald Trump needed to take care of was Michael Cohen, and he didn't do it. Threw him under the bus. Lesson to be learned. Michael Cohen knows where the bodies are buried. And he's going to tell everybody everything. That's his job. He's like our guide through this. I guided through Donald Trump through this mess. Let me tell you what happened. When he's done, Michael Cohen's going to look back and just sort of say, I told him everything I had of value. Is this enough? He's going to know what's enough. He left it all out there. And it's not even so much, was it worth it? Michael Cohen's been through a lot. And this wasn't supposed to be the Michael Cohen reading. It's supposed to be the Alvin Bragg reading. But Michael Cohen's been through a lot. And I hope it was worth it. Not so much, because his family gets threatened. He's had to have security. Donald Trump talks about him being death, i.e. that's a threat. You read between the lines type of thing. He's under a lot of stress. And he did not take a minor role in this lifetime. He took a major role in this lifetime. And he's rising to the occasion. Stephanie Clifford is rising to the occasion. I hope Karen McDougal is rising to the occasion as well. Donald Trump, he's not going to rise to the occasion. He's going to try and dig down and undermine the occasion as best he can, because that's just what he does. How does the prosecution feel after the case has been ruled on by the jury? How does the prosecution feel about this case after it's been ruled on by the jury? I was going to ask how they were doing with I kind of want to find out how they do against Trump. Okay, I'm going to refresh this. I'll refresh the question. How are they going to do against the defense witnesses up to and including Donald Trump? Oh, can you imagine if Trump testifies? Oh my God! First off, yeah, he couldn't get past the first 3 questions without committing perjury. There's that. But oh, what a mess that would be. Melania wants him to testify to defend himself. Oh Lord, this thing. Oh, Trump testifying would be that would be amazing. I can't. His lawyers should never, ever, 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 even for a second, let him up there. But since when does Trump listen to his lawyers? He listened to Joe Tacopina once, and it got him convicted of sexual battery against E. Jean Carroll. Never again, from Trump's point of view. How's the prosecution feeling about their cross-examining defense witnesses and such? Oh, hey, for those waiting for the hillbilly drunken brawl to come out, the drunken hillbilly brawl comes out. Oh, it's going to be feisty. Oh, and especially if Trump testifies, all hell's going to break loose. I think I'm here for it. Strength card. There's your preparation card. Okay, that's what they've been preparing for. They've been preparing for, this is probably a couple things. This is how the outside crowd is going to react after the trial is announced, the results of the trial. But as far as like cross-examination, it's going to be fiery, but they've got this. They practiced. They're ready to go. They can handle anything, and they've been preparing for it. So you got both. Again, this is going to be that layered reading I was talking about, because it's going to answer both. The way they handle the defense witnesses is going to be the same how they handle things outside. There's going to be a bunch of chaos going on in the courtroom. Oh, God, especially if Trump's up there. In the past, we've got the 5 of Cups. Wow, disappointment. I don't like that. That would make it seem like, Trump gets away with misdemeanors here. In the realm of talking with the witnesses, why would there be disappointment in the past? Oh, I think, like with Al and Weisselberg, some of the witnesses aren't able to testify because they've been discredited. Weisselberg's been discredited. He's been discredited because he's lied under oath. So it makes him, what was a potential good witness for the prosecution is gone, but it also means that there's no defense witness for Donald Trump either on this. Let's see what happens with that. Current situation with the witnesses of the Knight of Pentacles coming forward, bringing up valid points, bringing up, just going forward and pointing out the things of value. They're attacking the facts, or their interpretation of the facts, pointing out inconsistencies, such things as that. Then, how are they going to handle the defense witnesses? It's also kind of like waiting to see who the defense calls. In some ways, I think is the defense going to call Trump? Are we going to get that person over here? I think also the defense witnesses are going to be not cagey, but a little bit nervous. There may not be many defense witnesses. I don't know who Trump's going to call, because who wants to go up there and lie for him? People who lie for him go to prison. There's a nice card in the lesson we learned. Ace of Swords, justice being served. I think they're going to handle these witnesses. Yeah, victory. Okay, They're going to handle these witnesses just fine. There's going to be some commotion in the court, but the judge and the district attorney, they've got control over it. Disappointment in the past. This just could be the delays. This could be the some rulings that go in Trump's favor. Other court cases that have been delayed. There's just been disappointments on this. This could even be, this could also be just the district attorney having to wait so long because Alvin Bragg didn't think their case was strong enough, maybe for the cross. So they had to go out and do more work. But now that they've done the work, it's the defense witnesses that are leery, because in some ways here you go. The defense witnesses have to be very careful what they say, because it could be whatever they say to get Trump off on this implicates them on something else. Because heaven forbid, I was about to bring up David Pecker. He's on the prosecution side. But let's say, somebody was going to testify in Trump's defense, but they know what they're saying isn't true, and there could be an investigation on something else that would prove that you committed perjury. Yeah. Okay, come on now. This is perjury. This is defense witnesses worried about committing perjury. Why? Alan Weisselberg went to prison twice. He got convicted, and then he got nailed for perjury. Do you want to commit perjury? No. They tell the truth. Victory. How does this look for outside? There's going to be some turmoil, especially online. I don't think there's going to be lots of problems in Manhattan, but there's going to be in Trump country, and especially online, there's going to be hell to pay for this. I think they'll beef up security in New York just like they did when they did the arraignment, and all like 20 people showed up. But there's going to be beefed up security not only in Manhattan and in New York, but in other places where there's credible threats. And I think there will be credible threats. There's going to be threats being made on this one, because when the jury delivers their message, and I think this is going to be the guilty message because we have the Ace of Swords and the victory here. Yeah, I think he's going to get nailed on the felonies. This is not going to get knocked down to misdemeanors. Justice is served, and it's a victory. They know that there could be commotions on here. There'll be larger police presence, and I really think that it's going to be not so much ado about nothing, but I don't think it's going to result in there's no insurrection. Some people have asked, do you see like a January 6th like insurrection if Trump is convicted? I don't. Much like, there was some speculation as to, my God, what's going to happen when Trump gets arraigned? And they had all that police presence, and there were like 20 Trumpers that showed up, and none of them would show their face. Like one guy did an interview, and his face was covered all the way up to his eyes, because he doesn't want to lose his job. He doesn't want to be outed by people for that. What's worse, Trump had his fanatical army descend on January 6th. Come January 6th, it'll be wild. Yeah, it was wild, all right. We had a coup. And what happened to his supporters? His most fervent supporters, the ones that would throw democracy away and storm Congress. What happened to them? They went to prison. And the ones that didn't go to prison have maybe managed to avoid it because they scrubbed their social media accounts and then basically hid in a hole, fearful that any day now the FBI is going to come knocking, looking for them. So why in God's name would anybody stick their neck out for this guy again? Now he's talking about pardoning those people. That sounds real good, but why didn't he do it back then? These people may be fanatical, or most of them may be on the border of fanatical, but they're not fully stupid. There's kind of that trust thing. If Donald had pardoned all those other people, they'd be out there in force because there's no fear of repercussions. But in this case, there is a fear for repercussions, and Trump is not the president. So he would have to be elected president. And I'm sure they want him to be elected president, but it's not a sure thing. And he didn't pardon the last ones, even though he promised he would. He didn't do it. Now he's promising it again. There's that seed of doubt. There's just enough doubt that they'll be keyboard warriors and do that sort of thing, put up TikToks and things like that, but actually show up and confront the police and do stuff like that. That ship sailed. There's your Six of Swords pushing that canoe towards Riker's Island. We'll leave it at this point right here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, and everything you do that has helped really build this channel up. I really do appreciate it. It's as of filming right now at 4:08 p.m. I am right on the cusp of 10,000 subscribers. 9,991. Looks like we'll pass it today. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I never had any idea it would be this successful. I had all of 1 subscriber January 1st, 2023 after I had been on for a month. And now 9,990 subscribers later. This is amazing. Anyways, I hope this helped bring some anxiety down. This trial is going to be really interesting. It's going to be in the news every day for the next few weeks. I'm sure I'll be reading on it almost on a daily basis just to sort of monitor the energy and see how things are going. We'll get through this. I think we're going to get through this landing on our feet. We're going to see the justice that we've been so wanting so long for this guy. And again, don't worry. He's going to appeal. That's just what he's going to do. And understand that. Let's take the victories where we can get them. All right? Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.